But this could be the toughest decision Freddie's had to make in his tenure as coach, with the speculation around with Luai, who's not out of form. He's playing well, but probably not where he was. And Nicho Hynes, close to the best half in the competition as we speak. It's a big call. It is a big call that could really decide who wins or loses this series.
I think it's vital he gets it right. Yeah. And look, Brad Fittler, this is a big series for him. So he's in the last year of his contract. He's lost 2 of the last 3 series at a time when New South Wales fans, at least, thought they were coming in a bit of a rich period of success. It didn't eventuate that way. But he's in the last year of his contract. If he wins this series, that gets him into a job next year, right? It just activates the clause in his contract. So he has to win, and he has to get it right. And to be fair, he hasn't shown a record of getting it right game one. Game one's, there's been some clangers there of players he's left out, and he's had to then try and play catch-up. And both series he's lost, he's got it wrong in game one, and had to play catch-up through the series and ideally couldn't get there. And you could argue that in both those series that have been lost, New South Wales had a superior team.
Surely they have to pick Nicho, Kenty, because he's playing
I don't believe they will.
He's playing off the Richter. And you go back to last year's series.
Don't believe they will.
You go back to last year's series, right? Jarome Luai. There's a flashpoint moment where he pointlessly stands over Selwyn Cobbo and celebrates like a heavyweight champion. Queensland drew on that. It was spoken about at half-time in their dressing rooms. They came out, won the game, won the series. Felice Kafusi ran over the top of him. Kalen Ponga outskilled him. So I just feel as though there's no loyalty, there's no pick and stick when you're not coming from a position of having won the series. And when you look at Nicho and the form that he's in at the moment, how can you not pick him, Braith?
Did you say there's a question mark over Hynes' defence? I mean, New South Wales haven't given anything away here.
No.
We don't really know which way they're going to go. But, I mean, myself, I think Nicho's a good defender, but is there a question mark over his defence?
I think at the moment the Blues are playing it smart. They know you can't pick your team too early. There's still 2.5 weeks until they got on against the side. We saw Jake Turbo ruled out this week for 4 weeks, so you wouldn't think he'll be there. So things shift all the time. But in relation to his defence, look, there were reports in the paper today that has been a weak link for Nicho. I went and crunched the numbers. And when you stack his numbers up against Jarome Luai's, last year Jarome Luai missed 43 tackles in 20 games, an average of 2.2 per game. For Nicho, he missed 38 tackles in 25 games for an average of 1.5. This year, they're both missing around 1.5 tackles per game.
For a half, that's not bad. That's actually quite good. That's quite good for a half, 1.5 a game. That's not a concern at all. Mick, what do you think?
I think if the next 3 weeks is vital, if Nicho keeps performing the way he's performing and Jarome Luai still has that stop-start that we're seeing in his game at the moment, I don't know how you can ignore Nicho Hynes. The trajectory on him has been amazing this year. His game went...
Right now, they've got Luai in front. And most people would say right now, based on form, you would have Hynes in front.
And how do we know they've got Luai in front? Who's saying that?
I think they'd pick Luai now. If the team was picked today, I think they'd pick Luai.
Yeah, I've been told the same.
Why is it? I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either.
In 3 weeks' time...
Doesn't mean it's wrong.
Doesn't mean it's right either.
In 3 weeks' time, if Nicho Hynes keeps outpointing Jarome Luai, I can't see how you can ignore him.
Yeah, I just think it's... Look, they've got to get it right. The New South Wales side... Hynes brings something, that threat there. Now, I know Luai plays with Nathan Cleary, I know, but there hasn't been a period, you would say, in any of his Origin appearances where he's dominated for a period. It's always been off what Cleary's doing and off that Penrith combination, which I know is a big draw card for the coaching staff. And I know that's right now, if you picked a team, Luai would be the 6th. But
I reckon surely the other advantage for Nicho is he's playing full field for Cronulla at the moment. So, like, defensively, he'll defend on the right, but you'll see he'll set tries up on the left edge. He'll combine with Moylan. He would be playing on the left edge for New South Wales, but just the thought of he and Cleary working in unison and both playing full field, I think that gives New South Wales their strongest possible attacking arsenal.
The other thing too is you talked earlier about Luai standing over Cobbo last year and Queensland drawing on that at half-time. Queensland have these little things they call triggers in their game, okay? And you talk about... I talked to Melbourne Ingram once about it, and I said, can you really be any more motivated to play an Origin game than what you already would be? And he answered really well. He said, look, no. He said, but He said, sometimes things happen. He said, you just use it as a trigger for inspiration. So what'll happen is something will get said in the lead up or an incident like that. So then when you're down on your heels and you're saying, right, and you're bugging and you think, I'm just about stuffed here, they'll mention it to each other. And that just gets them going for that one more play, which is all they want out of them, just that one more play. Now, that's fine. That's good. That's all motivation. But the fact is, if you're New South Wales and you're offering them, but you're not countering them, then it becomes an issue. And Luai hasn't countered those. No. He's offered a few for Queensland. He's given them a few triggers that they get upset about, but he then hasn't said, well, here's the right bower and gone over the top of them. So you've got to, in the mind games between the games, this has nothing to do with talent or performance, but in the mind games and the overall big picture, it is important, and because that's what Origin is built on. Origin is an emotional journey. It's an emotional game. That's the greatness of it. It's not like a normal club game where you go out and you just put your plays into practice. There's something mystical about Origin, and that's the greatness in it. And it's that's in the fabric right there. And that's what New South Wales, I think, for so long has struggled to get their head around.
You don't want to give Queensland any more motivation than what they've already got. You've got to be really careful with the lead up and the preparation, and stay quiet, let the work be done on the field. But Luai, I think the last couple of years too, Penrith were dominating at this point of the season, clearly, and it was just an easy pick. But I think that's probably going to maybe hurt him as well, the fact that they're not going so well.